A lot of realtors sometimes forget about investment real estate. They think it's hard and they can't do it. But I tell you, you're missing the boat on making yourself a lot of money because you can buy investment real estate, number one. And number two, attracting a lot of investors because investors are always buying real estate. If you get in the right niche and the right way of doing it, you're going to have consistent uh, clients for a while. I have three investors right now that want real estate, and I'm working with some other ones that are going to want them. And there's a lot of real estate investors, and you got to have to find the good ones, the ones that are sophisticated. I'm going to show you in this presentation how to do that because it's really super important that you get sophisticated ones that don't back out of deals and deal with your time as nothing because there are a lot of good investors out there that I deal with, and I know there's a lot more that are out there that you can make a lot of money on. So I'm going to go through some of the processes of what I do, and what the information I get, how I give it to them, and so they can, bid on properties and get into properties. And I'll show you the services that you'll need in order for you to have a successful investment real estate business with investors. And along the way, you can buy your own. I do anyway, and it really helps me with my residual income. And as a realtor, we're always looking for commission checks. We're always looking for ways to make money. Well, investors are just a great way to do it, especially if you find the right ones to do it. But I'm going to go through this. This particular one is to show you what you'll need in order to attract them and keep them and have them understand that you know what you're doing. So let's go to the first slide. The first slide is get their budget for the property. Very important. You've got to know how much they have to spend. And the only way you have to do that is to get a bank statement, proof of funds is what they call it, or get an approval letter if they're going to get a loan. Now, that's a little different because if they don't have a really strong conventional 20-30% down, it's going to be tough in today's market. Set up templates for each investor. So in Dotloop, for example, I set up different files and stuff for the different investors. So if one's got one LLC, I put all their information in that one, so I don't have to keep remaking my contracts. And Dotloop lets you do that. I don't know about the other ones, but I use Dotloop. So if somebody wants to make an offer, I can do it very quickly and pull the right paperwork in order for them doing that. And if you're going to take the property as is, that's great. And explain to them as you give the offer, you're going to get an inspection just for major stuff. You're not going to ask for anything to be fixed, but you've got to know what's going on with the property. That way, if there's a serious condition that comes up, you're going to see it and know it and be able to back out of that deal if you need to. I rarely do that because I can walk through a property pretty quick, and you'll get to that if you start walking through properties enough. You'll see the problems, but I still get the inspection as a realtor. It's very important to do to protect yourself. And then during that time you'll be able to get the contracts put in an escrow and close them. But the key is to have that approval template set up for the investors and have them move quick. And I'll show you how to move quick because really that's the key. So a lot of times, I always look through the MLS. I do the numbers for the investor. So there's many ways you can. I use WhatsApp and forward it through Realtor.com, either through Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com. There's a lot of places you can do it. I just put that up there for some ideas. But this is the way I show it to them on the rentals. So I break down the tax 12 months, insurance I know a year's about 720, property management's 10%. That's their net. Now where do I get my worth? I go to the MLS. I actually comp it out real quick. It doesn't take that long. And then I work up an offer. How do I come up with rehab? I don't actually go to the property because if I do, I'll never get anything done. So I basically look at the pictures. I know the cost of paint, flooring, all that. You have to learn that, but wow, it's really worth it once you get going. Now, at first you'll want to go out and look at some properties, get used to that. But the basic for me, paint, maintenance, flooring, wood's in a lot of our houses, so flooring is super expensive, but I never put carpet in. I always put the linoleum strips, real nice ones that last 8 years and look nice. But there's different ways you can do that, but you've got to learn how much rehab's going to cost. And getting a contractor on your side is really a good way to do it. Make sure they're good though. And then you can see the address there. So I believe that this particular house, I know I can rent it for $1,400. Good place to get rental information is the best place, and I hate to say it, but it's Zillow. So a lot of people put their Zillow stuff in. If your MLS has rental in the MLS, which ours does, start putting that in there if you start doing this. It really helps the other realtors. It really builds the professionalism and business for rent for the realtors. So I get that from Zillow or the MLS. And then as you can see, I work through the numbers. I know the rents there anyway, but they were, when I first started, they were about $1,250 about 4 or 5 years ago. Now it's up to $1,400. And you can see that what they're asking for, it's there 135. We're going to go at 100,000. So I don't, if I need to get a 117.5 for my investor to work, you're going to have to learn that you're not going to be able to get full price offers. So you're going to probably end up giving a bunch of offers out to get a property, and that's okay. Write them up and do them, and then the more investors you get, the more properties you sell. I sell about 60 to 100 a year doing it this way, but I always got offers going out and stuff of that nature. But there you go. That's the numbers. They don't have to second guess it either. The investor knows it. Now, sometimes they'll call me and they'll say, hey, I want to see the comps from, so I send them the MLS comps. I don't have a problem with that. Whatever makes them nice and warm and fuzzy so they keep investing with you. Now, when you're doing it with an investor, you've got to send deals out every day or so. If you see them, you've got to at least look at them because you got to have consistent deals. WhatsApp is a great app, especially if you're going to deal with international people. Investors use it a lot, and it's easy to send files, videos, whatever. But it's really a good way to do it. Once you get doing deals on a consistent basis, you're going to learn your values, rents, and rehab costs, and you're going to be very, very good. And when I do with these now, when they do a business with me, they got to let me buy it. They got to let me do the contracting, and they have to let me rent it for it to work for me, because that way it all works out in the end. My wife is a broker, so we have our own property management. If you have a situation like that, that's even better. And then I always send them market reports out on a monthly basis. I just simply go through the MLS. I look at the 7-day average, and I just take the actives, and then I take the under contract and the solds, and look at it like that. And I also look at the listing trends, how much of the listings are selling for their price, and the inventory. And I send all that out in a video. It's really nice and neat and cool. But I can get you that video to show you that if you want, and that's not a problem. But that's what I do. I'm in constant contact with them. I'm also on eye contact, and they always get a newsletter from me every week. During the construction, I set up rehab and get the idea of the rehab costs. I do before and after pictures of the property and give them a weekly video. Why do I do that? Well, number one, I'm going to be communicating with them more. Very few people do this, and it's really a good thing to do. I set them up a private YouTube channel for each investor, so they may say, hey, I don't, they may have other investors that they bring in to invest with them, and they don't want them to know you. That's okay. Set them up a YouTube channel. Don't put your phone number or anything in it. Just put them in there, dump them in there, and make it look very professional, and you'll see it works very well. I have an investor that has a lot of properties and videos on their channel, and I dress it up through canva.com, which I showed you on another video, and I use a thumbnail, and it really looks to promote his own business. And it gives me more business, so it's all good. But the before and after pictures and weekly videos also help you if there's a fire, appraisals, somebody wants to prove that you actually did the work. It's actually a really, really good thing. Property management is super crucial. If you don't have somebody that you know that does it, find a good property management. Don't try and take any of their money as far as their monthly stuff. They don't make a lot, but do let them understand that you're going to rent it out the first month. And if you keep in contact with that particular investor, I would expect them to sell the property with you when they get ready to sell it. I have a lot of investors who do not use my property management, but when their property comes up for sale, I have a nice flat fee listing program that's cheaper than everybody else's, and they always go with me, and I get all those particular listings, which makes me a lot of extra money. You can also lease their property. I take a first month's rent on that. I do about 50, 60 a year. It's a lot of money. So it's a good way to make extra money. And leasing a property, when you put a property in the MLS, treat it like a regular listing. Do an open house. I do them through Zillow too. Open houses really work because that way you don't have to keep showing the properties. You can just have one big open house. Everybody shows up, and you have whatever the property management wants for a credit report with you, and make sure that they get the credit report and are able to fill them out there and get that over to the property management. It's really a good way to do it. It's a quick way to do it. And then the property management takes it from there as far as who's going to get qualified. So open houses are a great way not to go, because people always say, well, I don't want to go show a lease. They're going to call me all the time. And they do. But what I do is I tell them, hey, there's an open house this day, this time, please be there. If they say they can't be there, I say, well, call me after the open house and I'll see if it's rented. We'll set up another one. So open houses are a great way to do lease properties. Basic rehab that you need on these type of rentals is paint, flooring, lighting, plug switches, blinds, and clean. So it's not rocket science. How much does it cost to paint a house? Here in Ohio, about 1,000 to 1,200 square foot, I know runs around 3,500. I don't ever put carpet in. I can't stand it, so I put the vinyl in because it's going to save my client a lot of money to put that kind of flooring in, because it'll last probably 8 years. Lighting, I can get stacks of light at Home Depot for a couple $100. Always replace the plugs and switches. If they go out, it's a real problem for the property management. Had a sump pump one time go out in the house because the guy went in and replaced every switch but that one, and that one of course went out and flooded the basement. So you got to make sure they're all changed out. Blinds, cheap and clean. So those are your basics, and then of course you want to get everything serviced, plumbing checked, electrical checked, and stuff like that. But that's for the licensed people. You can hire people off the street for that. Roofing, concrete, asphalt, HVAC. I got all that. And you learn what may or may not go wrong. So when I get a rental now, they'll pay me an extra fee to go in there and check all this stuff out to make sure that all this is being done, it's being done correctly, and then I do the pictures and videos and all that. And you'll see that it works. And this is part of your service. Unique services are key to being successful in real estate. I won't tell you what I make a year, but it's a lot more than 99% of the realtors out there in Ohio. So when you're looking at this stuff, this is just your basic stuff, but you go, wow, this is, I just don't know if I want to do all this work. Well, if you don't, maybe you shouldn't be in the business. But, at the end of the day, if you want to really have a successful continual basis and not have to worry about every commission check and fight and scrape for that and be all, stressed out about it, this is a better plan. Investors really keep everything going. So this is kind of the stuff you need. Like, for example, I know that a heater runs in most cases around 2,500 installed. So does the electrical box. Roofing, it's all concrete and asphalt. I have that quoted. I don't really have anybody. I mean, I have people to do it, but I have no idea how to quote that. I don't want to know, so I just send them out there. Roofs vary, but you got to get a good roofer. And like Angie's is a great place to find these type of people. Angie's is a place where there's these people obviously aren't got enough business, so they get on Angie's list, and you'll find out that these people are good contractors in a lot of cases, and they really need the work. So it's another great way to get quotes. So the next one I'm going to do, and that's pretty much it on this, but I'm going to show you how to what's your marketing strategy to get investors. It's very, very important to do that. There'll be a lot of different strategies. I didn't want to make this video too long that it gets boring. But if you do want to give me a call, I'm Brett, 216-703-5740. I'm with Fathom Realty. I've been doing this since 1985. I've done over 1,000 plus homes. 216-703-5740. But the next video will be what's your marketing strategies to attract investors. Thanks, and have a great day. I appreciate your attendance.